welcome back to Homeschool with A M Layet. Remember Jamie Stanley Green? Today we're going to find out what happens when Jamie goes to school, meets the school bully and has a very bad day. Then we're going to do some more activities, and for one, you will need your PE kit.
There were many things Jamie liked about school. He liked the way they lined up on the playground. Aaron was always in front of him, Vanessa behind. He liked the way they all sat in the same place in the classroom every day. There was no one trying to steal his chair, the way Sam did at home. There was no one trying to kick his chair, the way Brian did at home. Jamie sat on a table with two girls, Beth and Sarah, and the person he liked most at Woodhouse Primary, Zach Peterman, his friend. Zach and Jamie were not friends the way Beth and Sarah were. Beth and Sarah went to each other's houses. They did gymnastics together. They talked all the time, in the classroom, in the playground, everywhere. Not Zach and Jamie. They were quiet as mice, Mrs. Scott said, and Jamie was happy like that. What mattered to him was that Zach was there and he was his friend. He was someone to play with, chuck a ball at, chase, catch, and someone to stand in goal. There was only one thing wrong with school, one thing that got in the way of all the good things and sometimes made him want to stay in bed and made him drag his feet all the way to school in the mornings when his mum's hand on his was tight as a rope burn. That one thing was actually one person, Ben Davies. To look at Ben, there was nothing special about him. He wasn't tall or big or fierce. He was just an average kid with skinny legs and a mean streak as big as Britain. Ben wanted to be the best. He couldn't stand for anyone else to be better than him. He had to have the last word, the best goal, the final kick, the biggest house, the most holidays, and he had to make sure everyone else knew it. Jamie didn't know why he disliked Ben so much, but he knew he did. Being near Ben made Jamie feel miserable. So he stayed away from Ben as much as he could. Unfortunately, that wasn't always possible. It was a PE lesson when Mrs. Scott decided to group Zach, Jamie and Ben together. They were supposed to be learning tennis. Jamie had never picked up a tennis racket in his life. Neither had Ben. But Zach seemed to be a pro. Every time Ben or Jamie managed to lob a ball in Zach's direction, ping! It came straight back at them. Ben's frustration was growing. He started talking instead of playing. "Tennis is boring," he told the other two. "My dad's going to take me to see Formula 1 racing next weekend. That's a real sport, he says." But Zach and Jamie just kept trying to play tennis, and because Mrs. Scott was watching, Jamie tried to hit the ball at Ben. And by some miracle, he did. The ball flew straight at Ben, who wasn't ready for it because his racket was between his legs. The ball hit him hard on the nose. From that moment, Jamie knew he was in trouble, but not from Mrs. Scott, who came hurrying over to check Ben was all right. Ben's nose had turned as red as a tomato and tears filled his eyes, but he didn't cry and his nose didn't bleed. He just eyed Jamie with real, hot-blooded anger. He wanted revenge. As soon as Mrs. Scott was out of earshot, Ben told Jamie, "I'm going to get you for that. You did it on purpose." Ben knew what he wanted to do, but first he had to wait for the PE lesson to finish. Then he had to wait for lunch. After lunch it was playtime, which meant Ben didn't have to wait any longer. He gathered a crowd of boys together and told them he was going to make Jamie Stanley Green cry like a baby. Jamie did not even see Ben coming. He was busy running away from Zach. All Ben had to do was wait for Jamie to run towards him and stick out his foot at the right moment. When this was done, he turned and walked away. Jamie fell forward and hit his teeth on the lowest step. He hadn't even seen Ben. He had no idea what had happened. 1 minute he was running. The next he was on the ground and his mouth felt like it was on fire. He rolled over in the dirt, tears streaming from his face. blood pooling in his hands. Then Mrs. Scott was there, and old Mr. Flint, and Mrs. Jackson, the headmistress, and Zack, Harry and Sam, and what looked like all the boys and girls in his class staring at him with terror in his eyes. They took him to the school office, and he sat on Mrs. Jackson's lap as she held the towel to his mouth. Someone next door phoned Mum. "She's coming," Mrs. Jackson told him. "She's on her way." Jamie was still crying when his mum arrived. He heard the buzzer in the school office, heard someone mutter, "She's here," and finally he heard Mum's footsteps in the hall. Then she was in the room. "Oh, my!" Mum never finished her sentence. She stopped dead in her tracks, her mouth wide open. The towel Mrs. Jackson was holding was more red than white. "What happened?" She stumbled forward, fell to her knees at Jamie's side and looked at Mrs. Jackson for answers. "He fell." "Fell?" "Yes, fell," Mrs. Jackson insisted, "and he's lost some teeth, but he's going to be all right. They were baby teeth." She lowered the towel from Jamie's face. Ribbons of blood came with it, and she gently prized Jamie's hand from his mouth. Jamie looked down into his hand and saw, like pearls, 2 small white baby teeth. His first ones to come out. At last!
Our first activity is a quiz. I will show you a picture of some animals' teeth. You need to write down the name of the animal. Ready?
Question number 1. What animal is this? Question number 2. What animal is this? Question number 3. Which creature do these teeth belong to? Question number 4. Who has teeth like this? Question number 5. Who has these teeth? Question number 6. Are those really teeth? Who do they belong to? Let's see how you did. Question number 1 was a dolphin. Question number 2 was a hippopotamus. Question number 3 was a great white shark. Question number 4 was a camel. Question number 6 was a beaver. Question number 8 was an Indonesian wild pig.
For our next activity, we're going to think about what teeth we have.
In this mouth, there are 32 teeth. If you look carefully, you can see that they're all different colours. Teeth the same colour have the same name. The purple teeth are called incisors. The green teeth are called molars. The blue teeth are called premolars. The orange teeth are wisdom teeth. And the red teeth are canines. When Jamie falls over and loses 2 teeth, he loses 2 canines.
You need for this activity a mirror, a pen and paper. Go and look in the mirror. Open your mouth as wide as you can. How many teeth have you got? Can you count them? Can you draw them? What kind of teeth are they? Do you have incisors, molars, wisdom teeth? What have you got?
Draw a mouth like this, then add in your teeth. Press pause to stop the video while you complete your drawing.
For our final activity, we're going to play cricket. Don't worry if you don't have a cricket bat and ball. There's another way to play cricket using things you do have in your home. Watch and see. Jamie goes to the dentist, who discovers there's something not quite right in Jamie's mouth.